Cool. Well, I guess we should go ahead and get started since it's 8:02. And this is actually our final training in the 60-day program. I can't believe how fast it's gone by. We have 27 diamond and star diamond rank advancements in the last 60 days, which is amazing. Congratulations, everyone. Christine, we have a pot of over $5,000 that those 27 people are going to split.
Holy cow.
So someone's going to be really happy and get a little extra spending cash. And it's really a huge honor to have Christine on the call tonight. We actually hired a new assistant a few weeks ago, and I was having her watch some of Christine's material on the Platinum Presenters website, and she was like, have you met Christine before? And I'm like, yeah, I have. And I was probably actually like that the first time I met Christine, because when I first started as a coach, we had team calls every Thursday night, and you better believe I was on every single call. And I remember the first time hearing her call out my name, and I was like, oh, yeah, Christine's on my name, you know. So it was just really cool. And, you know, we are on an amazing team, Platinum Presenters, and I'm always amazed when someone on the team isn't aware of that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, for me, you know, I was assigned a free coach through Beachbody before signing up with Christina, and I always go back and say, if I had ever signed up with that person, which I did request information and they never followed up with me, if I had signed up with that person, I would not be where I am today because of being on this team. And Christine's name was mentioned on the National Wake Up Call for, I think, 2-star diamond today, but that's got to be like your 4th or 5th business center or something crazy like that. So two-time superstar diamond coach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Make sure I get all of that right. I'm like, it's so hard to keep track of, you know, all of your accomplishments, but you know, I just always go back to the team and, you know, being part of this team and the training and the materials that are there for us at our fingertips, and the stuff that Christine has put together for us is amazing. So thank you so much for agreeing to be on our call tonight, and we'll just go ahead and turn it over to you.
Oh, perfect. Well, first of all, thank you so much for asking me. I don't get asked very often to speak on calls, so I appreciate it. I kind of feel like, oh no, what's wrong with me? Why don't people ever ask me to speak? So I appreciate, first of all, Lisa, and so super proud of you, of course, of, you know, watching your path and your growth. Obviously, I've watched your journey, and I've been a part of some of the struggles and everything that you have been a part in with growing through this business. And it's really fantastic to see the strength that you are now, and that you didn't just give up. And it's easy to give up, especially when life does become so busy or hard. And so I'm very proud of you, because you're really building such a strong team and leadership alongside with Paj. And that's super important, of course, showing that you are a strong leader, and glad that you have a great team. And I can't thank you guys enough for, you know, being proud of being a part of this organization and this downline and helping out. And like Allison, you know, like you're part of multiple programs, so you're always trying to learn and you're always trying to teach others, and that's what you guys are, you know, really have to be commended for that reason. So thank you guys so much for inviting me, first of all, but also for just being so active and visible. So Lisa kind of gave me the roundabout of what you guys have been doing, and this is the wrap-up of training that y'all have been a part of. And I know personally how hard it is to have people a part of a training, to check in and to make sure that they follow through with the actions that they're supposed to. And I know it's really difficult. And I believe your training was 60 days. Is that accurate? I think. Okay. I'm just going to say yes. But
sorry,
yeah.
I had muted.
Oh, no problem. But I know 60 days is ridiculously hard. And for instance, I run the 30-day business boot camps, and that's really hard for people for 30 days, and a lot of them feel a level of relief because it's over, that they don't have to have a strong accountability or responsibility to doing certain activity. But then also some people have like this emptiness and this feeling that now they kind of, you know, have to do this on their own. So it's fun to be a part of these groups, but just know that everything you've learned throughout all of this training, as well as what I'm going to share with you tonight, nothing it doesn't matter unless you actually get out there and do it. So you can learn all you want, but it's all about that action and getting out there and doing it. So when she shared with me what you guys have been going through and kind of what she wanted this final call to be about, is to really help you guys get a level of confidence, to really get yourself out there, and to really position yourself strongly in when you are sharing the business, as well as how to handle objections and really start to build your business in strength, and also with posturing yourself with it. So what I did is I, of course, put together something for you, and I've actually stripped out some techniques that I teach actually in the business boot camp. So for those of you who follow me, I run a 30-day business boot camp one time per quarter, and like Allison was part of the Diamond Forces and previously the business boot camp. But I've revamped them all. This past quarter was the first time going through them all over again, and I revamped them all, and it's all housed online in a Kajabi site portal. It's really streamlined and easy. So what I did is actually for tonight's call is I stripped out some of the topics that I had to teach within the business boot camp that are really a strong foundation of understanding what you have to offer and how to position yourself and get yourself out there to put it out there more with ease, less stress, less fear. And I'm not going to teach you the sharing, my 5-step quick sharing, all that stuff. I'm not going to teach you that part. But I am going to send over to Lisa, when I'm done, my points here. So this is everything that I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight. I typed it up and I put it in a PDF. So you can, of course, take notes, but just know that I'm going to send over to Lisa this master template, which I'm going to go off of to make sure I don't miss anything when I start talking with you guys. But what I really want to start with, as I said, is we have to think about how we're positioning ourselves and how we're posturing ourselves when we are sharing this as an opportunity. Now, it doesn't matter that we are all Beachbody coaches, you know, over 250,000 Beachbody coaches. I don't even know what their number is, but I know for ourselves, for Platinum Presenters, the organization, we have over 121,000 Platinum Presenter coaches. So you're part of a very strong, big downline where volume can really grow really fast. Because on average, just to give you guys some numbers, food for thought on how much we grow per week, each week, our organization, so Platinum Presenters, the organization, we add on average between 3,000 and 4,000 new coaches every week. That's crazy. So if you think about where you are and the whole lineage of it all, you have that potential to have more people building a business below you. So your activity to actually get out there and do something to build a level of rank or positioning for volume, I think is really critical and important, because you've got the potential to really make a significant difference with income because of that. So we are really lucky in my sense, because we have a lot of strong people building. So it's not, of course, my efforts, of course. It was that accumulation of all these strengthened leaders stepping forward and wanting to do something, and that activity just keeps building on itself. But what we have to do is we can't focus on the product. We can't focus on that we're Beachbody coaches. I always tell everyone, never really identify yourself as a Beachbody coach, because no one really knows what that is. I put out a video today, or not today, recently up in YouTube, basically telling people how to sign up as a Beachbody coach. I'm like, why not? If someone finds me, they've been following my journey, why not put a video up there telling people how to sign up with me? I should. And so I put that up, and I got a comment on it today saying, oh, I didn't know that you could make money in being a coach. I was like, what? You know, like I thought people know, but they don't. So they don't know. So really what your role is you're marketing fitness. That's really what your title is. You're not a Beachbody coach. You are a person that is marketing fitness. It doesn't matter that the products that we have or the label that Beachbody has a sign up as. It's really, why are you putting that content out there on social media? Why are you sharing this opportunity with people? Because you are promoting fitness. That's it in general. You're not doing it to sell another P90X. You are, in general, a marketer of fitness. So hopefully that kind of changes your mindset and your positioning that, you know what, I have to look at this differently. And some of the ways that you might want to look at it as, and I don't know if you've ever held a corporate type job where you have a certain amount of responsibility per job description. But the way I view it is the positions that we have as coaches isn't about trying to friend more people on social media or put up something of value so people will start following it. What you really have to really do in your business is you're advertising. You are like in the advertising business. You have to get better at marketing, because it doesn't matter what the product is or who you are. It's your skills of being able to effectively put yourself out there, but the marketing techniques to be able to get people to move to the next step. So that's what I really want you to focus on, and what I'm going to be focusing on as we talk. So first thing, I always really focus on 2 areas, and it's about your posturing of when you are having conversations or when you are sharing it with people, as well as referring and recommending. So I'm going to first talk about your reference and recommending the option and the product. So of course, we all got the same products to sell. We all can sign up the same people for coaches. When we're trying to actually share this with someone, you have to put that positioning of your posture and how you're referring someone to check this out, and you got to check it out from inside. So put yourself in a real life scenario of what you've probably already done. When you have had conversations with someone and they're new to the town and they're looking for a new dentist or looking for a new hairdresser, a lot of the times, again, we're always referring off our own dentist because he's the best. He's so nice. He treats the kids so good. You totally have to go to that person. And then same thing, say for your hairdresser. You know, you think your hairdresser is the best. Of course, you wouldn't be going to them, but you refer people to them because you really like your hairdresser, your dentist as a person. You trust them. You trust that they're not going to do anything harmful to you or try to take advantage of you, and you know that they do good work. So that's why you're referring to those people, because of those factors, because there's a ton of other hairdressers in town that probably are amazing. The same with dentists. But it's a matter of why you trust them, you know that they're not going to take advantage of, and that you know they do good work. That's why you're referring to them. Now you've probably done that in your life. Think about that last time that you've done that, where you've referred someone to a restaurant that you love, or a hairdresser or a dentist, or whomever. Now try to recall the types of your body mannerisms when you were doing it, or your vocal tone, or your excitement, or just your overall feeling. Did you feel nervous telling them to go check out your hairdresser? Were you scared? Were you stuttering? Were you like hoping that this person will really go to your hairdresser? No, because what's the big deal? You're just saying, hey, you should just go check that person out. That's who I love. You have to transfer that feeling and that posturing of when you do refer and recommend all those other things for this business the same exact way. So if you can transfer that type of feeling when you are recommending to someone that they check out the 21-day fix, or that they check out the business opportunity video, that your posture really should emulate the same feeling as when you tell someone to go to your hairdresser. Because you can tell everybody in town to go to that person, but what really makes a difference is when maybe one person goes to that person. So that first thing we have to think about is your posturing. So the next thing is when you are doing that, I always kind of teach a technique to, especially the people that take my business boot camps, is you have to come in with your conversations with people with a shrug it off type of technique. So I always have them practice, especially if they're doing it on the phone, which I'm going to totally recommend that you start getting in the habit of doing. And I got to quickly interject this. I'm sorry, I'm a dog with shiny things. I do go all over the place, but I always come back to the point. So on this private Facebook group that 5-star diamonds and above are on with Beachbody, so we're connected privately to Jeff Hill and the corporate of Beachbody. Someone posted about how they ran this training group, and they had their people that were in the training group really call people and effectively make more connections, signing people up on the phone. And the whole comment section is littered with testimony of different leaders, people that you follow in the Beachbody organization, proving it that your chances of signing up someone are so much higher when you call someone. And I know the phone is weird. Like when the phone rings, I'm always freaking out, especially if like it's my sister or something. I'm freaking out, wondering what the heck's going on? Why are you calling me? And same with my friends. I'm like, who died? You know, like nobody ever calls anymore. But if you make that appointment to make that call, then there is a point to it. So I teach that in my business boot camp, that you have to be confident and comfortable calling and talking to people, making a person-to-person connection before you can ever really be insanely successful through your fingertips online. Because when you're confident in person or on the phone, when you get to an online conversation with people, you kind of can run that conversation a lot easier because you've got that confidence and you don't have that level of desperation. So I'm going to totally stand behind, start calling people. And I know it seems weird sometimes, but it really, you get over it. It really starts to make a big difference. Now, what I do when someone will contact me and say, hey, I want to talk about Beachbody, I always give them that option. Well, I can call you, let me know when you might want me to call, or if it's easier by email, I can do it this way as well. But I might be able to help you come to understand the questions that you have by phone. So I try to encourage them to get on the phone, but not everybody will want to. Especially, for instance, if you don't know the people on Facebook and you're reaching out to them, don't try to reach out to them and say, hey, can I call you? Because that's freaking weird. So don't do that. Obviously, you have to have a back and forth, tit for tat type of conversation with someone before you would ever offer it. But if they're coming with a lot of questions, you can always just say, hey, you know what? It might be easier if we just I call you, and we can do it by Skype or this Google Hangout, whatever way. So don't negate calling people. And I know it's a little scary, but you got to, again, do the shrug it off technique. So the shrug it off technique is, you just kind of go into the conversation like that. Like, if you want to check out what this is about, there you go. Here it is. Go watch that video. But if you go on a call and you're like, oh my gosh, please, like, I hope that you'll sign up. That feeling of tension and that nervousness, it comes across, and it's in your voice. It's the same as when kids are afraid of certain animals or adults. They sense it. And the same thing goes with you. But if you kind of, before you make a phone call, just start shrugging it off, like in the mirror, be stupid, who cares? Shrug it all off, kind of shake out the jitters, and then when you are talking to them on the phone, do that. Like, well, if you want to check it out, I've got this video you can check out. Make it more like that, like, well, if you want to, or have you ever checked it out, or have you ever considered it? Kind of more like that rather than, hey, I want to share this business with you. Can you go watch this video? Because that is so cold and hard. So those are different types of way you can kind of position yourself to be able to let the fear come off. So shrug it off, and then that whole positioning of referring, where you basically don't need to like beg them to go do it. That you're going to do it nonetheless, no matter if you get a benefit out of it or not. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the rules of selling. So again, I'm going to share this document with Lisa. And the number one rule is you need to stop selling. So S-E-L-L, replace that word because people hate that word. Have you ever gotten that objection from someone saying, I don't want to be a salesperson? Well, no, I'm not a salesperson. I always have to use this example. Now, many of you guys have probably went through the Powder Blue Productions trainings with some of your presenters that were selling a bunch of clothes and some Elite 11s. Now, I'll tell you, because I'm the one who trained all those presenters when they worked for Chalene Johnson. I was responsible for them. I was the person who trained them. We had a technique, and it was built in the whole day. You had no idea our little secret techniques on selling to the group all day long with never selling to the group all day long. We never went to directly tell someone exactly to buy something. There was one stronger technique position in the day where it was heavier on the push, but it wasn't a strong sales. It was still kind of a positioning. So I want to share this with you for those of you who've ever gone through a training through Powder Blue Productions. So not Beachbody, because Beachbody is different these days. So what we did is we had all these techniques built throughout the day where we would change our clothes, because I know for one, I would see those print shorts with the zebra and I was like, no way, I'm never wearing those. But then when I put them on and then I put an outfit together, people were running to buy them. So there were certain techniques, and that was the reason why we changed our clothes so much. And the certain thing that we would say throughout the day would touch on someone's emotional connection or their goal and their transformation connection. So for instance, that Elite 11, so it was a big package of 11 different rounds of music and videos that we would sell. And it was the most expensive ticket item for the whole event. That's what we would focus on, because our rule of thumb was this. Majority of the people coming to the trainings were women. So we never really focused on selling tank tops or shorts or capri pants. We always focused first on selling the Elite 11. And the reason is not because the Elite 11 was $129. It was because if that person bought the Elite 11, then I know that they're buying into this lifestyle. They're buying into loving me more. They're buying into loving the company more. They're buying into loving the format more, and they see themselves applying it. So when I sold that, that's what I sold. I didn't sell them just music and DVDs, because who cares? I sold them on that. So how did I sell them on that? Is because throughout the day, I would constantly give them references and ideas of how they're going to be able to move past that day utilizing what they've learned or what they've gotten from that day. So for instance, some of the techniques were, when we were teaching them how to build their classes, we would build in a little bit of fear. So for instance, and I'm going to correlate this to a challenge pack. So what we would do is we'd build in a little bit of fear in some of our language. Like we'd say, okay, so y'all came today and you've got that one music CD and video that you have today. But I'm just going to let you guys know that when you get out there and start teaching to your classes, you're going to start teaching it. People are going to start loving it. But if you only walk out today with that one lesson or that one round, they're going to leave your class. Did you know that the #1 complaint from members to instructors who take classes is that they don't change their music enough? And if you don't get something else to have to be able to use after you walk out of today, then you're going to get that complaint and your class is going to dwindle. That's why this Elite 11 is so perfect. You don't have to use it all at once, but you can start to bring in some of it. So for instance, you start with that round today, but then when you want to change and add new music, grab one out of there and you can start mixing it so you feel comfortable in the learning process. You have a boatload that you can go to that you'll never get that complaint, and you're actually going to start to increase your classes. So I'm building in, hopefully you saw that, I'm building in that whole idea of them seeing themselves either being successful or failing. Now if they paid their money to be there that day, they don't want to fail. They paid their money, they gave up 8 hours to be there, and then if they invest money, they want to be able to be sure that, well, I'm spending all this time and money. I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get something out of this, and I'm going to be successful. So now, how does that relate with a challenge pack? It's the same exact thing. So for instance, you're not exactly selling someone on a new workout program or just start drinking Shakeology. That's one small piece of the puzzle. What you're really working on is getting them to visualize and implant it into their life and how they're going to keep using it to get that continued result and success. So with your challenge groups, or even if you're just straight out selling someone, they need to know that they're going to have progression, that you're not just going to sell them and leave them. And so what you might want to start thinking about is positioning yourself how they would be feeling with buying something so expensive, and how they're going to utilize it even after the purchase. So when they purchase it, how they're going to protect themselves from failing, from being right back to square one again, and how you're going to ensure that they have that success. So for instance, one of the ways that I would ensure that they'd have that success, going back to that old story, is I would tell them that if they got this training pack, what I'm actually going to do to make sure that they keep on top of their form and their technique is I'm going to send them out a video of me personally teaching them how to do better form and technique in the Brazilian martial arts moves. And also I'm going to send them a quick cheat sheet of how to learn rounds really fast, classes basically really fast. So basically, I've now positioned their mindset knowing where they want to go. I built in a little bit of fear that if they don't take that step, then they are going to have a higher chance of not having success. Is this all making sense? That now I'm nailing it to a commitment, knowing that I'm still going to be there and they're going to get some extra bonuses because I'm going to give them extra free stuff because they're getting that product. The same thing goes hand in hand. So you can't sell someone. You have to replace the word sell with help. You really have to start thinking of helping someone to meet their goals and to continue past so that they're feeling supported. All right, so you have to really think that you're more in the consulting business and recommending how they're going to be able to utilize what you have to offer. And if it goes down to their business, like sharing the business opportunity, the same thing is going to go there. So once they get signed up, you need to make sure that you've got that whole path of where they're going to go next. And that is something that you really have to make sure you find out from them. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. Okay. So I got to read a quote from Darren Hardy. So Darren Hardy says, "You can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want." That's exactly why I'm as successful as I am. So yeah, whatever. I'm a superstar Diamond 2. I don't really focus on it. Like, I haven't even listened to the national wake-up call. I always do that on Tuesdays when I'm working out at the gym. Thankfully, they put them on podcasts because it makes it so much easier. But, you know, my goal isn't let me be the first person to achieve blah. Let me hurry up and make this so I can, you know, be the top of the ladder. I'm not trying to do that, especially when I was first starting out and I was trying to get the business rolling and figure this out, because I'd never done network marketing and this was brand new. I had no idea. So when I turned 15 Star Diamond, my goal wasn't just to make 15 Star Diamond that first time. It was because I was freaking stressed out trying to figure out how to make these people who signed up with me have success, because that stress was on my shoulders. We promised them this was going to be amazing, and so now they join and they keep looking back going, what do we do? I needed to make sure that they had a plan and knew what to do, because they needed to be successful so that I could breathe a little bit. And I was pregnant at the time, and I had a 1.5-year-old son, and that was really stressful. That was the reason why I turned 15 Star Diamond, is because I tried to help as many people who signed up with me in the beginning become successful. So that was my critical position of why that happened. The next thing I'm going to focus on is you need to stop pushing. So really pushing your agenda on someone else. So most of the time, we have someone that comes to us and they ask a question of, you know, how much is it to be a part of your challenge group, or how much is that challenge pack, or what is this coaching opportunity? We push the idea of what we think that person is going to do with it onto them. We may push even our own story onto them. The whole thing is you have to really dig deep into them, because each person is an individual. So it really comes into asking a lot of questions. So it's easy to push our agenda to people, and we are so passionate about this that we'll talk about it all the time, and that will never get them excited, because it's you. They want to talk about them. So that is a really delicate position, and I'm actually going to be recording a call that will load up in the Platinum Presenters about emails and interjecting your story to be able to connect more with people by your emails. And this is one area that is really important, especially when you're on Facebook, communicating by your keyboard, or having those conversations, is to stop pushing your agenda or your stories or the Me Too's onto them, because that's never going to get them to be excited about what happened to you. They want to be excited about what's going to happen to them. So your goal is to keep pulling the agenda out of them. Anytime anybody asks me, how much is it to be a part of your challenge group, I never answer that question. I never tell them a price, because how can I tell them a price when I have no idea what they really need? And I am a very honest person that I will never sell someone something if they don't need it, if it's not right for them. Because again, a lot of times people who see the P90X infomercial and they come to you and they say they want to buy it. You can't just sell that to them, because you may be setting them up for failure. They may not want to do that. It's too long. They didn't know each workout was over an hour long. So you really have to dig deep and pull why they want to be a part of, or why are they considering coaching. Really start to get to know their story. Ask more questions. And this is going to be the real cornerstone of all your success. You really have to start listening more and talking less. So either if it's in person or on your computer. So if you could see a bunch of my emails that I would send off, say in Facebook, I basically litter a ton of questions. They don't always answer them all, but I always want to get to know them one point or another. So I give them some questions that I know that they know I'm interested in them, and I'll litter in just a small smidgen of something about me that correlates to them that they may connect with. So your job is to listen more and talk less. Whenever you're having any conversation, tomorrow or wherever you are in your job, start paying attention to how much you're talking. This was a great little tip that I gave my boot campers. Record it. So next time you're going to have a conversation with someone, be it in person, like someone on the fly, just on your phone, hit the voice note. And I don't know if y'all know, but I'm just going to show you by an iPhone. You can easily record anything. And I always do this to send voice notes to my friends or my coaches. It's in your utilities. If you can see, I don't know if you could see that with my Diva ring, but it says voice note, voice memo, should I say, and that's how you record. That's it. And so I record a lot of things, and I'll send them off to my coaches. But if you're having a conversation with someone, just get your phone out and hit record and put it wherever you want to hold it, and just record your conversation, and then play back, of course, when you're not in that conversation anymore, and start paying attention to how much you're talking. And you may be shocked. We really don't know what we do until we record it. Have you ever videotaped yourself when you were working out? Like, we feel like amazing and strong and like, you know, super fit. It's like so funny when I videotape a lot of my workouts, and I think like visually I'm like, I look pretty good today. And then I look at the video, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like my form is horrible, or this outfit sucks, you know, whatever it is. But start recording a lot of what you do, and that includes your conversations, because you're going to pick up a lot that you didn't realize. So one little example is I do Taekwondo, and I competed in May in the Southern USA districts. So basically, you know, the whole USA. I competed in the forms, which is the routine, and then sparring and stuff. So when I was competing, I won first place already before, and this was district, so this was like, you know, the championship. And when I went in, and the judges, I was the third person to go, and the judges gave me the grade compared to the other two that were in front of me. And they gave me some grades that I was like questioning, because I thought I did a lot better, and I was unsure why the guy that was watching my feet was rating me lower. And I was like, I am having my feet in the exact position that they should be. And so then after, I videotaped myself when I was with my friend Angie Green. She wanted to see my form. And I did it for her, and she videotaped it. And I watched my form, and I was like, oh, duh, there it is. I didn't see that my foot position is this way when it should be this way. That's why I was getting marked off. We don't see it. Start recording. It's really going to help you. All right, rule number 3. So, oh, wait, before I go. We have to change our mindset on who we're talking to. So I know we have these terms that get run around. Make a hot list of names, or make a lead list, or a prospect list, or a target list. Some people call it a hit list. Change that. Start changing your mind and your focus not to the people who you have to go hit up or target. Stop thinking that way. Start thinking of it as, which family am I going to help next? Which person am I going to inspire next? Think of it that way, because it's not selling or targeting or hitting them up and pulling them into something scammy. This really is positive. You've seen the changes. It's happened to you. No matter if you've had a grandiose amount of success in this yet, you're still in this because you feel connected to it. You still feel that positivity. You feel like you're impacting. You feel like there's purpose for yourself. I mean, I feel that my purpose is to really help and teach people to achieve and believe in themselves, doing something that they didn't think was possible. I love doing that. That's why I do this. And that's why you're doing it, because you love that feeling of helping someone. So we have to change our mindset. You really, deep in your gut, want to help someone be happier, right? Don't you want to help that person struggle less? Don't you want that person to be home with their family more? Like, you really want that. You may really want that. So start looking at people in a different way, and you're going to start to drum up a different feeling that it's not targeting them, that you really are sharing something awesome and amazing. So the last thing that we're going to be talking about before I go into the wrap up is rule number 3 is to stop selling to the wrong people. Oh, my light is very bright. I think I should back up. I'm getting closer to my diva ring and I'm whiting out. Okay. So stop selling to the wrong people. So you can't be everything to everyone, because again, you've heard that before. You're nothing to no one. We have to really focus down who are we looking to help. And I'm going to give you a little technique that's going to be able to help you with this, but really start to brainstorm your lifestyle. So your lifestyle, because you know what, I'm a mom of 2 in my 40s. I've had 2 C-sections. You know, I can't easily connect with a 20-year-old that's just fresh out of college, because I'm not that lifestyle. It's the same thing in reverse. A 20-year-old can't run a post-pregnancy challenge group when they've never had babies. How can you try to connect with people that you've never experienced the struggle or the challenge of? So you and your 20 fit self be like, who cares that the baby kept you up all night? Get up and work out anyway. Like, you can't say that. You've never experienced that. You have no idea how that feels. So you have to start really diving into your lifestyle and brainstorm that. The other day I had a conversation with an 18-year-old kid. He just signed up with me, and he's 18 years old, just out of high school, and I called him on Friday. He works at Pizza Hut, and he lost a ton of weight using Insanity and P90X, and his brother has lost a ton of weight using those programs too. And for me, I don't easily have a connection with him. I've gone through that, of course, but what I'm pulling on to be able to help him is my coaches or my family members who are in that lifestyle now and knowing where the struggle is. So I've got a niece who's in her early 20s, and I know exactly where her struggle is. I mean, you put yourself back into the early 20s, and where do they struggle when they're trying to build something for themselves? Usually they're so conditioned to the society norm of go to college, get a job, and work for someone, and that's what you should be doing. That's what we're just conditioned to doing. So that's really hard to train someone, because that's really what it is, who's fresh out of high school, who's used to being told what to do every second of their day. The bell rings and they now know they got to go to math. How can you now have someone who's free as a bird do this business independently and trust that they're going to effectively put a good schedule on their day and do this task, do that task, do this task? You need to handhold that person a lot more because of where they're coming from. So sometimes it may not be exactly you, so I'm not going to not sign up this kid. I've been there, 20 years ago I've been there, but I'm going to pull on experiences that I know that some of my coaches still struggle with, most predominantly my niece. Okay? The last thing about stop selling to the wrong people is you need to find your best buyers. So if you've got people who are always like getting everything you ever have, they always buy everything that's out next, you need to start spoiling them. Those are the cream of the crop people, because the ones at the bottom, and this is not a negative term, but I kind of equate it to carp. If you know carp, they're big fish. And I used to live up in New York, and they were all in the Lake Ontario. But these fish were the ones that fed on the bottom of the lake, and they eat the crap. They basically eat all the crap, junk stuff that's on the bottom. And I call them bottom feeders. So those people are the ones that continue to want something free from you. They always want to be a part of your challenge group, but they never want to buy anything. I just really need to do this. I have no money. Well, if you keep allowing free people or bottom feeders to take up your time, to constantly be filling your inbox, and you're constantly giving personal one-on-one attention and phone calls and everything, you're never going to be able to have time to give attention to the people who are actually building your business. and that's your top performing coaches, and that's also your customers, or even your fans on social media that always share your stuff, that always like your stuff. Start giving them more love and attention, because that's who is the base of your business, because those cart feeders are going to go to the next coach to see what that coach is going to give them for free. Do you ever feel that? Like someone emails you and they say, hey, I want to be a part of your challenge group. What do you give as part of your challenge group or whatever? And you answer. You know that they sent that same message to maybe 5+ other coaches. They're basically going to go with the coach that basically gives their firstborn child first or whatever it is. They want as much as they can for free, and they're going to go with the person that requires the least and gives the most. That's a lot of what happens. So stick to your guns. My time is valuable. My time is so valuable. And so I'm not going to continue to train people for free. This is how I handle it. If someone can't invest in what I require to be a part of my challenge groups, I refer them off to what I have available in the public for free. So for instance, someone who wants to be a part of my challenge group, they don't want to invest anything to be a part of it. I say, I'm sorry, but it wouldn't be fair to the other people that are a part of the challenge, and that's what they did to get in. But if you need a meal plan to follow, then just go download my free one that I have on this website, and I've also got some online workouts that you could follow that comes in the email. You could just go do that. So I'm still giving them something. I'm not like hanging them out to dry saying, no, you can't do this. I'm still giving them something. But if they want personal attention, daily attention and cheering and personal meal planning and advisement on their training, that's my time. It takes our time to do this. Same thing goes with coaches. So protect your time. Okay, mistakes, as I wrap this up, the mistakes that we make is you are a fool in love. You are so in love with Beachbody, with Shakeology, with 21 Day Fix, with whatever we have. You are so in love with it that you easily can gloat and push it onto other people. And we sometimes get stuck in that feeling of mine's better than theirs. Do you ever have that argument where you're trying to find a comparison of our shake to their shake and why our shake is better than that shake? I've never had to say why Shakeology is better than that shake or that shake or that shake. I don't need to, first of all, down any other company or product, because I always feel that your reputation is the number one thing that you should protect, and I don't want to ever have a bashing reputation. I feel that there's value in everything, but personally for me, I don't need to defend my product, because if I'm defending it, if I'm trying to pull up the benefits in the ingredients list, comparing against that ingredients list, then I'm trying to convince that person to buy it. And that's no benefit, because then if I'm in the convincing game, that means I haven't really invested to get to know what their goals are, what about them. I haven't moved into the transformation side of things. I need to visually get into their world of where they're going, where they struggle, and how this is going to facilitate that. That's where I need to stay. I never need to defend or compare. I always take the approach of, well, you know, that shake may be great. I'm not familiar with it, but what I know about this one is when you take it, it's actually cumulative, that it builds on itself, and after consecutively taking it for a week, you're probably going to feel this. That's probably going to happen. So you kind of give them that type of an experience and knowing what they want to make happen. And you don't need to focus on the features and the benefits. So I've got this one video up on my YouTube where I put a video up about coming back from the cruise, and I didn't drink Shakeology when I was on the cruise last year, and I had headaches and I was bloated. I just had a lot of crap happening to me, and I really believe it was because I wasn't drinking Shakeology. And I got this nasty guy who's commenting on there, just, you know, bashing and all that. But whatever. I don't need to feed into that, first of all, because it's negativity. I like to remove negativity from my life. But I don't need to sell him on all the superfoods. This product has this superfood, and do you know it has cacao? And do you know it's got blah, blah, blah? Because that stuff, who cares? A lot of people don't care about that. They just want results. Because have you done this? Have you ever done something where you know it really wasn't the best choice or really wasn't so good for you, but you were so desperate to get results, you still did it anyway? That was me. I don't know how many years and years I was drinking Slim Fast. Oh my gosh, I was drinking Slim Fast secretly all in my 20s because that was my go-to to lose weight. Now I know Slim Fast wasn't good for you. It was embarrassing to be on, but I did that. The same thing goes for ephedrine. Back in the day, I don't know if you guys know about this, but back in the day, ephedra used to be all over the place. And I remember buying this product called Hydroxycut, and I would take it no matter that they were finding like kids dropping dead on the sports field because they were taking ephedra and it's affecting their hearts. There was risk, but I was so desperate to lose the weight that I would take that risk. It even came to a point where when I was working in the gym as an instructor, and one of my friends was a big user, should I say, of some illegal supplementation, and I said I vowed I would never do anything illegal to get into great shape. But then it came to a point of desperation. He hooked me up with illegal fat loss drugs coming from a different company or country, and I took them because I was desperate. When people get desperate, they don't care what they're taking. That's the same thing as you can't make someone want to always eat perfectly healthy. We have to focus on changing their lifestyle and their perception of how they're going to view themselves, and you can't sell a feature and a benefit to be able to make them make that choice. It's about understanding where are they having struggle and problems, and how can you help support that, and how you're going to be able to make them change that without it being so uncomfortable. That will help you. Okay? The reality is this. Your success in sales, helping people, is 10% of your product, but 90% of how you market it. Hopefully that makes sense. So your messages, this is going to be your homework as we're finishing up here. Your message here, the typical sales evolution, and I got this from attending Darren Hardy's Entrepreneur Roller Coaster live event. The typical sales evolution is this, is we have a product or a business opportunity, and we market and do sales on it. We're focusing on a certain person, and then we work for the transformation. So we have Shakeology, and we market it and promote it. We find someone who wants to have it, and we work for them in the transformation. If you flip that, you're going to have greater success. First, start focusing on the transformation. Start putting your message out there on how things are different. So the transformation, the success, the before and afters, what people are getting out of this, the transformation. Then that will pull the right people to come in, which increases your marketing efforts that would lead them to the right product. So first focus on transformation. Don't focus first on the person. That's an easy mistake. Start focusing on your niche and who you have that's had a transformation. I'm going to give you a homework assignment on this list so that you can easily start putting your message out there differently to pull the right people. Gosh, I hate that I'm so white. I wonder if my beaver ring goes off. If it'll... Oh, now I'm dark. That might be better, though. Okay, so last thing, the number one quality in the best salesperson, the person who wins is the person who has the most empathy. So if you can get into someone's shoes and understand where they're coming from or pull in a personal story that's going to be effective with them, that's the person who wins. It's not the person who can sell the most. It's reaching out to more people and empathizing with them. That's where you're going to have greater results. So one of your assignments, you've got two, one of them is you need to lie in their bed. Do you know what I mean by this? When you lie down, think of a night where you've got a lot rolling around in your head, either problems, stress, or things you got to do, whatever the case might be. When you lie down at night and you're working to go to sleep, what runs through their head? What runs through your head? Start jotting those things down. What are some of the struggles, some of the things you stress out about, some of the things that you think of I got to do, or, oh my gosh, I wish there was a way that I could figure out how to be able to make that happen and then this happen. So start thinking about what that person thinks about when they're lying down to go to sleep. Write that down, because that's going to be what your message is. So if you need something to talk about on social media, That's what you're going to talk about. Find what people think about when they go to bed, and now when you put content out there, that's what it's going to address, because you're going to focus on helping them with their transformation of what they need, which is going to find the right people come forward. So hopefully that's making a little bit of sense. The last thing I'm going to just focus on here is to really get deep with people with the before and after on the topics about what they really need. So in this little homework assignment that I got for you is you're going to write down about 6 to 12 transformations on how people are, how much success you've had with people who have worked with you, who've been coaches, but basically first identify what their issues are, what they're thinking about when they go to bed, and then start creating little mini stories about these little transformations so that when you go out there and put something up on social media or you're talking to someone, you start from the transformation first. That's how your conversation should be. So I think this was this was super long, more than 30 minutes, but hey, you asked me to talk and I will talk. But I'm done. Hopefully that was helpful.
That was awesome. And even though you said you were going to provide us with the notes, I still took like 5 pages of notes because the more you write it down and absorb it, it just starts to click. And, you know, I've been learning from you for the last 5.5 years, and I'm really excited about the information you presented tonight and got a lot of really good takeaways. So hopefully the rest of the group did too. And thank you so much for your time. I know that you're busy, and tell the family and Johnny and Peyton, give them a big hug, and thank you so much. We really appreciate it. So.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it again. Thanks so much, Lisa. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.